What is up there, guys, and welcome back to another video. Now, for any new viewers out there, as always, I'm going to suggest you guys hitting that subscription button down there to stay tuned for more videos on entrepreneurship, stock market, maybe some real estate, and just different ways of making money, guys, okay? So if you're really interested in money and just love talking about money, then definitely join us just by hitting the subscription button again, guys, okay? Now, first things first, if you clicked on this video, it's because you either have children or thinking of having children, and you definitely want to make sure you know what you can do for their future as far as finance wise is. So in today's video, what we're going to be discussing on is what is a 529 plan. And it's crazy because I've never even heard of this plan until I saw a recent video by JJ Buckners on his channel, which I'll leave the link down in the description down below so you guys can check him out real quick. So big shout out to him because he's a growing YouTuber also as well, and he knows his stuff also at the same time, so be sure to check him out, guys, okay? But anyways, when I found out about this type of plan, I was just like, whoa, there's such a thing like this out there for people. And I guarantee that not most people even know about this thing, because I know I didn't. And I asked a few people out there to see if they knew what this was, and they just seemed strange to them when I told them about this, and they were just like, what? Such a thing even exists for our children like that, or even for yourself? So I was really surprised and amazed. So that's why I was like, whoa, I gotta make a video on this because this is really important. So let's just jump straight right into this video, guys, okay? So now, what is a 529 plan? Well, it is basically a specialized savings account that is used to save money for college in the future. And basically with these type of accounts, they each have their own account owners, and then from there you pick someone who you want to save this money for later on in life, whether it be your children, grandchildren, or maybe even yourself if you want to further your education in the near future if you ever consider it. And basically the money in a 529 plan is basically to use for college, or even recently it could be used for private schools from kindergarten to 12th grade. All tax-free, guys, okay? And this will cover a lot of things, especially in college, which I will describe in the video a little bit later on. And once you see these benefits, you're just going to be amazed about what all you could have invested in your own children, or what your parents could have invested in you had they known about this type of plan. And just like a 401k or a Roth IRA, you can set up automatic payments with this type of plan so that it takes it straight from either your checking account or maybe even a payroll check. So this makes it even easier to save money for college, simply because you don't have to do it manually. Just set it up automatically and it's just rolling over, and next thing you know, boom, the money just starts building up. Now, the really important and probably the best thing about a 529 plan is that it has a lot of tax and financial aid benefits with it. Now, if there's one important thing to remember with this type of plan is that contributions made to a 529 plan are after tax dollars, meaning you can be taxed on this plan since it's already been taxed. So any initial deposits that you make into this type of plan are all tax-free again, okay, guys? You won't get taxed on none of this. So that's another good thing about this type of plan. Now, in 35 states, contributions to a 529 plan are eligible for a state income tax deductible or tax credit. Now, another thing about a 529 plan is that if it's owned by a dependent student or the dependent student's parents, then essentially the 529 plan is reported as a parent's asset on the free application for FAFSA. Therefore, distributions are going to be ignored completely. So they're going to offer a more favorable financial aid treatment than with a student asset. Because you see, with student assets, it lowers their eligibility for this type of aid by around 20%. Now, compare that to a parent asset, and it's around the most like 5.64%, meaning that when you put this as a parent asset, essentially you're going to have better chances of getting the most out of a FAFSA plan than you would if you filed it as your own self as a student, thus giving you more of a chance to, you know, just qualify better for it in case you need this extra little aid to further your education. Now, with the 529 plan, some of the great things about it also is that you can basically start it whenever, especially if it's for your children, because you can open this type of account as soon as they're either born, or maybe when they're in elementary school, middle school, or as soon as they're about to go into high school. You can essentially open this type of account whenever you and your children are ready. Also, there's no limit to the number of 529 plans you can open. So if you have maybe a niece or nephew you want to open one for, you can essentially open one for them also on top of your own children. And whoever the account owner is, they basically control the account, not any of the people that you open this account for. Meaning, even if they reach a certain maturity age, they take no control over it in case they want to do something else with that money. So no matter what, you're going to be in control of that money, not them. Another great thing about it is that anybody can contribute to this type of account. So if they get money for, I don't know, maybe a Christmas gift or something, You can take that money, put it in that account away for them, and just let it save up for their future. Another great thing is that some states and cities will even contribute to a 529 plan of your own children if you manage to open this account before their first birthday. So if you're planning on your kids' future already and think of having kids, guys, then consider this option. But be sure to check with your city and state's regulations and rules with these type of accounts, because with each state, all these rules apply differently. And it's actually been a little bit proven that when kids have these type of accounts set up for them, they're most likely to go to college and actually maybe even graduate from it, simply because they have that little extra backup money, compared to some of these students right now where they're entirely high in debt, guys. I mean, I would highly consider maybe a plan like this for your children, especially if you want them to go to college, because you don't want them to end up in thousands of debt later on down the road. So it's almost like you're giving them a free education if you think about it, without the need of financial aid or anything from anybody, really. And also, certain states will also even match contribution to you if you're a low income family, depending on what state you are again. So again, guys, please be sure to check what kind of regulations and whatnot your state's plans have, so you take full advantage of these things. Now, when choosing what type of 529 plan you want to pick, you can essentially pick any state's 529 plan. So if you live, I don't know, in Texas or something, you can open one up in New York or wherever you want your children to go to school, you know. And some things you might want to consider when choosing which plan you want to choose: consider tax deductions or some tax credits, and just try to look maybe for some very low fees, and just compare some based on net performance and just after subtracting the fees at the same time. Okay, now you can also enroll directly through a financial advisor, but be aware these fees are also going to be essentially higher. But again, you're hiring a professional to help you out maximize your contributions at the same time, so maybe hiring an expert might be a better suit for you. So consider those two options at the same time too, okay, guys? Now, when picking what type of plan you want to choose, you want to choose which plan is going to best suit you and your future financial goals for you and your children. And most 529 plans offer at least a dozen few options to choose from. And some options include static funds, such as U.S. fund stocks, international stock funds, real estate funds, bond funds, and even money market accounts. And some even offer bank CDs. So there's plenty of different options to choose from, guys. Again, it's just really going to depend on you and what your goals are with this type of plan. So definitely try some of these out. Maybe mix them if you want. Again, it's really just all up to you guys. Now, some of the minimum contributions to a 529 plan are going to vary on what state and whatnot. But there are some where you can contribute up to maybe $25, or maybe just start down with $10. Some even offer just $0 to begin with. So be sure to check around for those in case maybe you're a little short on money but still want to start some type of plan. Now, some of the things that this plan will definitely cover, guys, are college tuition, fees, books, supplies, equipment, computer software, computers, rooms, boards. I mean, there's a lot of things this plan is going to cover, guys. This is basically going to cover almost their whole college life. So if you're able to contribute a lot of money into this account, be sure to take full advantage and set up your kids in a way maybe you weren't set up. Think about your children, man. Now, one last note I'm going to mention here is, what if your kid doesn't want to go to college? What if you have all this money saved up and maybe your kid just, I don't know, maybe decides to take an entrepreneurial route or something, you know? Maybe college isn't for them, because we all know college isn't for all of us. I know it wasn't for me, and I know for some of you it might not have been also. But for those of you that it was, then there's nothing wrong with that also. But you also want to make sure you have a plan like this, just so in case they do want to go, you're more than prepared. But if they don't end up going, well, what you can essentially do is you have different options. You can change the beneficiary, meaning instead of having it under your children's name that you wanted to fund that money for, maybe you have a niece or nephew you want to fund it for, you know. Maybe you see them wanting to go to college, you can fund it to them, let them take advantage of that money. Or maybe you want to educate yourself more. Maybe you want to take a little step further in your own education. Use that money for yourself to go to school. It will cover everything for you guys, okay? That's an amazing thing about this account, is that essentially it's almost like a free college for just saving some money. And again, depending on the type of plan you have, it's just going to keep giving you more money, so it's just stacking up more and more. Now, please be advised that if you do use this money for other than college, you will be taxed on certain type of things, and those taxes are going to be depending on maybe your income, and maybe for every year that you did have this plan for contributing, they might tax you on that also, and you might be hit with the penalty fee at the same time. So be sure to read on what type of plan you have. And again, if you can, try to use this money for school, guys, because that's basically what this plan is for school. But remember, your principal or contributions that you have put won't be taxed. just the interest that you gain on this. So again, do be aware of that before you consider using that money for anything else. Now, if last minute you need it just for maybe a major emergency or some sort of type of thing like that, then maybe, but that's why you always gotta have an emergency fund for that separately. And guys, before ending this video real quick, I just want to point something out. Now, I know while this may sound like a really good and safe investment for your children, just remember one thing at least. Be sure you yourself are financially stable to be able to provide for this type of plan, because there's no point in looking for your kids' future if you can't look for yourself and your own family's future, okay? How are they gonna survive for their future if you can at least support your own future? So make sure you're in a financially stable position to fully fund this the way you want to fund it without having to go into any debt or anything, okay guys? But if you are in a situation where you can, then be sure to check this out, guys. Search it up, you know, definitely give it a chance. Maybe it's something you want to consider, maybe it's something you never heard, because I know I never heard of this until like recently. And again, if you know you can better your children's future than your parents probably set you up, then definitely consider looking this type of plan up, okay guys? But anyways guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you have any comments or concerns or anything like that, be sure to leave me a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a like, guys. And as always, if you're new to this channel, just be sure to hit the subscribe button down there, guys, okay? And anyways, that's gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.